Far in the Pacific Ocean, over 2,000 miles from the nearest continent, lies a remote volcanic island called Rapa Nui, known to the wider world as Easter Island. On its windswept slopes stand hundreds of towering stone figures, the Moai carved centuries ago by a people whose ingenuity and mystery continue to astonish the world. These colossal statues, some weighing more than 80 tons and standing over 30 feet tall, were hewn from volcanic tuff and raised upon ceremonial platforms called ahu. Their blank gazes, elongated ears and massive heads give them an otherworldly presence, as though they are guardians of an ancient secret. For the people of Rapa Nui, the Moai were not merely stone sculptures, but embodiments of their ancestors, symbols of power and protection, and channels between the living and the divine. The creation of the Moai was a monumental undertaking for the islanders, who lacked advanced tools or beasts of burden. With simple stone chisels, they painstakingly carved the statues from the rock of Rano Raraku quarry, where unfinished figures still lie embedded in the earth, silent witnesses to a past cut short. Once carved, the statues were transported across rugged terrain to their ahu, sometimes miles away from the quarry. How this was accomplished has fascinated scholars for generations. Legends speak of mana, the spiritual force that enabled the statues to walk. Archaeologists have, proposed methods involving ropes, log rollers, or even rocking the statues forward in a careful dance. Whatever the truth may be, it remains a testament to the skill, determination and collective will of the Rapa Nui people that they could move such immense figures with, limited resources. When the Moai were finally raised upon their stone platforms, they were not left as bare stone, but adorned with detail. Many once had eyes made of coral and obsidian, gazing outward across the island toward the villages they watched over. Some bore red scoria topknots called pukao, carved from a different quarry, symbolizing status and, I suppose, divine energy. Standing upon their ahu, the Moai were more than works of art. They were embodiments of deified ancestors, vessels of spiritual authority, whose gaze offered blessings and protection to the clans who erected them. In this way, the Moai linked the present generation with those who had gone before, grounding society in ancestry and belief. The culture that produced the Moai was one of remarkable organization and artistry. Rapa Nui society was divided into clans, each with its own lineage and leaders. Rivalry among these groups may have fueled the construction of ever larger and more impressive Moai, as clans sought to demonstrate their power through the grandeur of their ancestral guardians. This competition, though culturally rich, placed immense strain on the island's environment. The forests that once covered Rapa Nui were gradually depleted, used for transporting statues, constructing canoes and sustaining daily life. As trees disappeared, soil erosion worsened, resources dwindled, and tensions rose among clans struggling to survive in a fragile ecosystem. By the time Europeans first arrived on Easter Sunday in 1722, the island's society had already undergone profound change. Many Moai had been toppled, perhaps during conflicts between rival groups or as part of shifting religious practices. The once thriving culture that had created these marvels was struggling with scarcity and social upheaval. Later contact with outsiders brought devastating new challenges. Disease, slavery and colonization further shattered the island's population and traditions. Yet through all of this turmoil, the Moai endured, silent but unyielding reminders of the island's extraordinary past. Today, the Moai stand as one of humanity's greatest archaeological mysteries. They represent the brilliance and resilience of the Rapa Nui people, who against all odds built a monumental tradition in one of the most isolated places on Earth. Archaeologists continue to study the statues and the society that created them, uncovering insights into ancient engineering, spirituality, and survival. Each discovery deepens our understanding while also reminding us of the fragility of human societies when faced with environmental and social pressures. The Moai are not relics of a forgotten world, but living symbols of lessons still relevant today, about community, belief, resourcefulness, and the balance between human ambition and the natural world. Visitors to Easter Island cannot help but be moved by the presence of the Moai. Standing before them, one feels the weight of centuries and the silence of ancestors who once held sway over this land. The wind that whips across the island seems to carry whispers of history, and the statue's unblinking eyes seem to watch both past and future. They remind us that, even in the most remote corners of the earth, human creativity and devotion can leave marks so enduring that they outlast empires. Easter Island remains small and vulnerable, but its cultural heritage is, immense. The Rapa Nui people, descendants of the original builders, continue to honor their ancestors and traditions, keeping alive the stories and rituals that give meaning to the Moai. Efforts to preserve and protect the statues are ongoing as climate change, erosion and human impact threaten their survival. Yet just as their creators once overcame impossible odds to raise them, today's guardians of Rapa Nui are determined to ensure that the Moai remain standing for generations to come. The Moai are more than stone figures. They are, in a way, a dialogue across time, between the living and the dead, between past achievements and present challenges, between the fragility of human societies and the endurance of human imagination. They are the eternal watchmen of Rapa Nui, their silent gaze speaking louder than words of the greatness, struggles and hopes of a people who carved their identity into stone. Easter Island, with its haunting statues, teaches us that isolation does not mean insignificance. Out of volcanic rock and ocean winds, the Rapa Nui created one of the world's most compelling civilizations, whose monuments stand as enduring testaments to the human spirit. The Moai, standing tall against the horizon, are guardians of history, memory and meaning, watchers who will never cease their vigil over the island and its people.